Amber. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing Disenchanted. I'm I was so excited for this movie. I loved Enchanted growing up as a kid. I watched it so many times. I had the little Giselle doll like from the Disney store, and I was really upset when I saw nothing like Enchanted Giselle after like the big like hype of the movie had died down. Like it just kind of was like, well, she's not a princess. I'm like, she is a princess. She is like one of my favorites. Then Patrick Dempsey, like just Amy Adams, like all good things. All good things were in this movie. I loved it so much. And I was so excited for the sequel. It feels like now that I'm older and all these sequels are coming out and like remakes and like they're making like kids movies, like all these things that they're doing, it's either very disappointing or very exciting, or very skeptical. like, um but I was really excited for this movie to come out. I got all sorts of different, like, it just looks so beautiful visually. I was eager to see what they would do with Robert and Giselle, like how, like, I think there was a fear in all of us that if they were gonna work out, and there was none of that in the movie. There was none of that. Like there was one second where she was like, "Are you happy?" And he's like, "It's not that I'm unhappy." And I'm just like, "Wait a second, whoa!" And then he was like, "I just don't want to be taking the train." I was like, "Oh, you're unhappy with the situation? Okay, it's not that you don't love her. You love her. Okay, great." Um, but yeah, I wanted more romantic moments between them, but I understand that this was more sort of Morgan and Giselle's story rather than Robert and Giselle's story. Um, and kind of like their bond as mother and daughter. The first one, like, she kind of was like the one that like helped things come along and everything. And I feel like that was more Robert's part in this movie. Seeing Nancy and Edward like come back, as like I was just like, how is that gonna work between them two? Like it just kind of was like, we're doing this, and I was so okay with it because I was just like, a kid, and it's just like, it is what it is now. And them together is just like, they're slightly opposite, but then she, when you think about it, wanted a lot of the same things that he embodied. Like she wanted Robert to kind of like go out of his way for her, and like she loved when like the doves brought the invitations for the dance and everything, and like there was flowers. Like she wanted those things from him, and I think Edward like does that times a thousand. So like, and then the fact that they kind of like showed like that she understood certain elements still of the human world and still was very much like part of that world in a lot of ways, I think was really nice. It kind of just like, her character, so wonderful. And then, oh my goodness, when she sang, oh my goodness, I was just like, yes, beautiful. Oh my goodness. I think like everybody knows Idina Menzel from like Frozen and stuff. And we kind of forgot that she was an Enchanted first. And I even forgot, and then it wasn't until like I realized like, oh, you were Enchanted, like, and now your career has flourished with Wicked and Frozen, and just like they took full advantage, I think, of the fact that she could sing in this movie. Like I wish they had done that in the first one, because obviously like she could still sing, but like now she's like a well-known like actress and singer, and it's just like they took advantage of that. And it was beautiful, it was glorious. And I would have to say that it is probably my favorite song in this movie. I That's another thing. Like I didn't really like the songs in this movie. Maybe they'll like, I don't know, maybe I'll hear them more and then I'll change my mind on it. But as of right now, I don't like the songs too much. Even her song, like, even though it's my favorite in this movie, I think she sang it beautifully. it does not compare to That's How You Know, like from the original movie. That was beautiful. Like Amy Adams was just like so perfect. I mean, it just means so much to me, and it was so good. And felt like they overdid the songs a lot. There was a lot of like repeating the same things, and just they just tried too hard. And uh there was so many songs that they did, and it was just kind of for any little thing, and I wanted that moment in that song, and it didn't really happen. And then, like, honestly, like in the first movie, there's not really too many songs. Like, there's that one, and then there's when she like sings to the birds, and that's pretty much like all I remember. Then again, I haven't seen it in a while, but like that was enough for me as a kid. And now like that I'm an adult and watching this from a more critical lens, I still would go with like how they went about it with that movie. Just not that this movie was not good, it was very good. I just think they overdid it with the songs. Giselle did a pretty good job with assimilating into just kind of being in the normal world. And she still got to live that sort of like magical life that she found because she um she got to live with Morgan and like still discover new things about New York and everything. But I think that once life, got real and she couldn't find anything new, she kind of just like, this is it. This is my life. I'm in the human world and all this stuff. Like she kind of started craving that life that she had before. And obviously she wanted it with, her family. And Morgan was growing up and she kind of was just like losing touch with certain things. And so moving to Monroeville. I keep thinking it's Monroe-Asia because when they changed the name. But so they moved there, and Robert being so supportive of her and everything, I think was just so great. And him being very understanding as like a father for Morgan, like being very like kind of go with the flow, but like also like, hey, like, but talking to her in such like, I think an adult way. I love the dynamic between Robert and Morgan, even though there wasn't too much Robert in this movie. I think that when we did get him, we saw that he kind of like had grown up in a lot of ways. He wasn't kind of just like figuring out things and figuring out how to raise his daughter. He just like he knew who he had raised and who his wife was and what kind of family they had and what he wanted for them and everything. He was very supportive. Even at the end when like she was with the guy, he was just like, and I was just like, you have a lot of faith in your little girl, and I love that. Giselle, like the fact that she was like calling her mom and everything, and then like she said stepmom because she was mad at her, it just was like it was so heartbreaking when she called her that. Like you felt for Giselle. It was just like, oh my goodness. I assume this is like their first like fight, like because before then, like Giselle's kind of just like, and Morgan's being very understanding of Giselle, and trying to explain to her what sarcasm is and everything. But like this whole family has this very respectful and supportive like vibe going on that I really appreciate. And it's not until like she gets really frustrated and it's kind of like the last straw, at least for Morgan, where she starts like acting up and everything, and like it's not right. But I think that point, it was like the first point that her and Giselle really were at odds, and it led to this whole big thing happening, and Robert trying to be like this like hero dragon slayer taking care of the family type person. He has no idea how to do this, but he has no clue that he has no idea how to do this because in his head he's like, I've been doing this my whole life. It's like so cringy but so funny. And then there's just nobody realizing that like I think that was kind of like it made Giselle realized that, but then she also really wanted this to work out. Wand would only work for a true daughter of Andalasia. And in Andalasia, I guess that would be no problem, you know? Like, I guess, like, the whole purpose of this wand, like, I guess in Andalasia, it was, like, gifted to, like, special individuals, and, like, they could have this power, you know? Like, there's a little bit of magic, you know, because not everyone has magic. But like in the human world, that's like I guess even more like sacred to bestow on the baby, you know, for them. Like they're like, oh, we're bringing magic here to the human world for you, your daughter. And apparently Morgan could use it. um but I think in the end what really bothered me was we knew she was going to be able to use the wand. Even like, how could the lady not know that she was gonna be able to use the wand? And then like she was like, well, it's not gonna work. And then she just kind of sat there and everything. And then like here's Giselle saying it's gonna work, and not like right in front of her, and she's still taking her time. Is like, oh, okay, it's the wish is gonna get granted in a few seconds anyway. But even then, like she still has the wand. She could still make a wish, like because magic is still in the wand, you know, even if she broke it. And then like Giselle could have like basically freed Morgan. She could have, like, you know, and then she was just standing there, like, flabbergasted. And I guess it was just a state of shock. And then she drops the wand, and that's when she breaks the wand and stuff. But it's just like, there was so many times there where it was like, we're pausing too much. Like, you could just be like, ba bam, ba bam, done. But that's not what happened. But, okay. And I think that the whole, like, that they come from a fairy tale world and everything, and for them happily ever after, it's like the end, you know, like, and then every single day after that is like happy for them, and they just kind of deal with like everyday stuff, but they're still happy, but everything works out over there for them. um but like in this world, you know, Giselle's like, well, things keep happening, things keep going, life is tough here. And very big focal point of like she had to like realize that like this is the life I chose, and I have to just keep going with it. Her dying was like so heartbreaking. I think I was more heartbroken by Edward dying on the other side of like the water. I don't know how they could see him, like I guess because the worlds are merging and everything. Why didn't like the magic come out of the well the when Morgan got pushed in? Like it just kind of was a normal well by that point. But if the magic was still seeping out, like there was just little inconsistencies where I was like, and then Nancy's like, well, we're making we're making a portal here for you, but we didn't even know the portal was in the other place to begin with. Like now you have knowledge of. I would have liked to know, like, how did you find knowledge of portals that you can just create and bam, there's a portal right there, you know. And also the magic is being like sucked in through this like this world, like, you know, wouldn't it be sucked in through every single portal? Like, wouldn't there be multiple holes in the sky, not just for Monroeville? Who the queen, she just like in the end was just like, you know what, I get ahead of things myself too, and blah blah. Like, come on, like that was a little too much giving in. Like we had to work a little bit harder for that, like, because you turned into a full-on villain. Like that means that you had like more. Like, come on, come on. And then the chipmunk was Chip. The chipmunk was Chip. I was really happy about that. And the fact that this was a story that he was telling his kids, I'm just like, oh, I loves, I loves, I love Nancy and Edward. They were my favorite. Oh, they're just like so good. And the fact that they just kind of kept visiting, it's like they've been visiting like a lot, obviously. So I love that they kept in touch. Very tree, and the fact that, you know, there's the cartoon kind of like version of her and Robert getting married, and then it shows like the actual version. I'm just like, oh my god. And the fact that there was two like villains battling out, like, you know, who was gonna be the last one standing, I think was very unique. And even though like it was this world was going to have to be the fairy tale world, that's why they like were competing for their position. But in the circumstances of like where's it, what Giselle had wished and where she was at, this is what the outcome was. And so therefore we had two magnificent villains. Like, it was everything I wanted. There were some things that I wanted to be explained, but all in all, just like I was sitting there, I was enjoying it. I the movie ended and I just sat there and I was just like almost about to cry because I was like, this is the continuation of my childhood and everything that like I have waited for, and I was so excited, and it was more than I could have hoped for. I don't think I would have wanted anything more from this movie, even with certain things like that I was confused by. I think it did this world, this beautiful world of Enchanted, justice. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all real soon. Bye.